Welcome back to the Sahyadri webinar series, a beautiful visual journey across 200 forts in the Sahyadris over 15 different traverses spread over 2 months in 2019. Today we'll be zooming into the traverse from Harishchandragad to Bhandardara, second part. We'll actually look around some 10 different beautiful peaks and forts around the beautiful Bhandardara reservoir. Here you can see a photo of the artificial lake, one of the oldest catchment areas in the region. As usual, the videos are available in high quality on YouTube, optimized for mobile viewing 9:16. Also on my blog ultrajourneys.org, along with the other Himalayan webinar series and a 10-minute preview posted on Insta TV and Facebook. Voila, here we can see a nice map, OpenStreetMap of the region. So in the previous traverse we started from Harishchandragad. Previously we started from Harishchandragad, went through Kalatgat, Katrabai, Ratangad to AMK, from the right bottom to the top left. Today we'll be going through Sakira, Kalsubai, Papargat, Sindula, Mukhel, Shirpunja, Ganchagar and Bairavgat, all located around this same beautiful catchment area. Little history on Kalsubai. Kalsubai is situated at an elevation of 1,646 meters, the highest point of Maharashtra. The mountain range lies within the Kalsubai Harishchandragad Wildlife Sanctuary. It's visited throughout the year by avid trekkers, Kalsubai temple devotees and wildlife enthusiasts alike. So we'll actually climb up pretty steeply here from the plains around the reservoir along a bit of a ridge towards Sakira Hill, and from there directly connect through a small saddle with Kalsubai to get down on the northern side, which is the main touristic route. Here we take a dip in a beautiful crystal clear river flowing to the Bhandardara reservoir. On the back you can see the hills of Kirda, Sakira and Alang. Here we climb up along this little ridge with also like a small pinnacle on the way out of the Bhandardara reservoir to the Sakira peak.
Climbing up Sakira along a steep ridge. And up there is the pinnacle of Sakira.
Voila. So as we climb further up, it's a pretty beautiful trail from the base to the top of Sakira. Here we climb through a small gully and we get stunning views actually on the Bhandardara reservoir below, which is surrounded by these 10-12 different peaks and forts. Here we then come further to the top of Kalsubai, where we have a small temple built. From here also stunning views on the reservoir below and the plains. Okay, so after Kalsubai we get down to the highway, we take a small lift and we cross the ancient Bhandardara Dam, one of the oldest dams built by the British, quite majestic. Views on the reservoir are beautiful from this site. Also quite touristic, and just 30 kilometers south of Nasik So during the weekends, always a lot of tourists going for boating. You can also swim in the lake. The water is really crystal clear, with absolutely no cities or pollution around. From here again, it's a pretty short stretch to the base of Pabbergat on the north right of the reservoir. The trek is pretty difficult. There are rock-cut water cisterns and remains of dilapidated buildings on the fort. There is a rock-cut sculpture of Hanuman god on the way to the fort, and there are natural caves on the hillock adjacent to the fort. There are rock-cut steps to reach the top of the fort, a little tricky sometimes when it's wet, and 4 rock-cut water cisterns and the temple of Bhairoba god and idol of Ganesha. So you can see Pabbergat is a bit on its own there. From Pabbergat, again, we'll get down on the top left and then follow a beautiful midway trail, which you can see in purple there, to the base of Sindola, from where we then go to the twin peak of Mukhel and get down on the southeastern side. Here a quick taxi ride. Share taxis in this place are pretty popular as many villages are not connected by bus. The jeep was full, so another way than to stand on the outside. Here you can see those beautiful forming hamlets at the base of Pabbergat. Very hospitable people there, very innocent, not commercialized much, and very sustainable in the way they grow their own food and live pretty much independent. Here at the base of Pabbergat, then beautiful temples, a bit almost similar to the ones you can see in Himachal. A lot of woodwork here. And voila, as we then reach the top of Pabbergat, you can see this small remains with a couple of water reservoirs and a small kind of mandir here. Voila, as I mentioned, from Pabbergat again we get down and we go through a beautiful midway traverse, high above the plains but still much below the top peaks. So there you can find a lot of remote settlements, farming settlements, which are not connected by roads. You can only reach there through plains, and people are kind of, it's a bit similar to the Gujars of Chamba. These are like mountain tribes, people disconnected from society, living in very primitive settlements, but from mid-level you get stunning views on the forest and reservoir below. You go through quite beautiful paths here along midway. This will all connect all the way actually to Katrabai and Ratanghat midway, the forest line above the reservoir. We, however, climb up after a while, and as you climb up, you come above the forest line. You see Bhandardara again, with on the opposite side, Kalsubai. As we climb further up, we go through a pretty steep gully to reach to the base of Sindola. We also, in these less touristic places, you still find a lot of these beautiful quartz, rock quartz stones near the top of the peaks. Here you can see Sindola Peak indulged in a cloud cover. As I traversed there, it was quite rainy still towards the end of October. And then from there through a small saddle, not much traverse, so a lot of vegetation. The trail is not very clear. You come to the top of Mukhel. Beautiful views again on the plains and the villages in the valley below. As here you can see the same beautiful top view from Mukhel on the Bhandardara reservoir and some of these small remote villages forming on the tentacles in between the lake. As we come down from Mukhel, just like in many other places, we find those kind of cattle herders or sheep herders staying kind of below caves and walls from vegetation and wood to protect their animals. So they live kind of midway again, high above the plains and below the peaks, where they take shelter and then take their animals for grazing on top of the peaks where you still have meadows as nobody cultivates over there. Next we go to the trio here of Shirpunja, Ganchakar and Bairavgat, all pretty much connected through beautiful top trails. Multiple mountains are named Bairavgat, including one near the Karat Chiplun area, one near Malsheshgaj, and a third one in the Bhandardara region in the neighborhood of Ganchakar, the third highest peak of the Sahyadris. The fort is believed to be ancient and nearby 2,500 years old. The fort is in ruins. Two big caves on the top host the shrine of Lord Bairavnath and a hostel. The idol in the cave is carved and painted in good condition. Ganchakar at 1,532 meters is the third highest peak in Maharashtra. Voila, so initially we start here from again the plains as we get down from Mukhel and on the way to Shirpunja. Beautiful farmlands at the end of October in kind of almost ready for harvest. Here we come to the village of Shirpunja, beautiful rural settlement, nicely decorated homes, small shop where I pick up some food before I head up for those 3 peaks. You can see the people are fully engaged here in farming, no machine labor, it's all manual here. A lot of people have, or herders actually, cattle herders, sheep herders, goat herders. Voila, as we climb up from the village of Shirpunja to Shirpunja, we come across again ancient history here, old rock cut stones depicting certain scenes from everyday life, I assume. Here you can see the rock-cut temple cave in on top of Shirpunja, where you also find this ideal inside. Quite popular, this one, with a proper staircase to the top. A couple of reservoirs on top. And then as you leave Shirpunja, which is quite touristic, along an almost invisible trail to Ganchakar, hard to find, you come across again these midway settlements here below, kind of caves, open caves, closed with woodwork and vegetation, where the shepherds live with their cattle, cows, sheep and goats that they graze on the deserted meadows on top of these big peaks, but very similar to the shepherds in the Himalayas almost. Here you can see another beautiful long cave, kind of closed up with woodwork, where there are a lot of cows inside during the night, I guess keeping them safe from predators, milking them, and then during the day grazing the meadows on top of this place. This is the base midway of Ganchakar. Beautiful waterfalls dropping down from the top. Here we then climb up through a small gully towards Ganchakar. Again, as we get up, we see those beautiful views of Bhandardara in the back, with probably on the opposite side AMK, Kirda, Shakira and Kalsubai. Here we traverse on top of Ganchakar, a vast hill with a lot of meadows. Little trail is still visible as we move to Bairavgat hill in the back. Further towards the horizon, you can also see the small pinnacle of Ratanghat. We come then down through a small saddle here from Ganchakar and proceed on the opposite side to Bairavgat, all fairly steep, but pretty nice trail still there, mostly used by those same shepherds who go grazing their animals on these slopes. Along the way again, these are less touristic places, so you still find a lot of beautiful rock quartz stones of all different shapes and forms along the way, mostly on top of the hills. Voila, after climbing up to Bairavgat, we have a small kind of religious place here, and then from Bairavgat, being a little bit centralized, I'll show you now a 360-degree video of some 12 peaks and forts around this region.
Looking at Kalsubai, the highest peak of Maharashtra. From there, Panjara Dam. To the right we have Pavarghat, then Sindola Peak, On the right connected Mukhel Peak. Here in the front we have Geit. On the right of those we have Shirpunja. Planning further clockwise we come to Harishchandragad. Kaladgat in the foreground and then quickly planning on. Here we're standing on Baravgat. There we have Ajoba Peak, followed by Katrabai. Further away there we can see the signature of Ratangat. And then further away, pretty far away, we have Kulan, Madan, Alan, followed by Kirda, Sakira, and back to Kalsubai.
Voila, amazing kind of 12 peaks and forts in one singular traverse, all connected through really beautiful trails going through either forest or the remote countryside. Here we can then see another extension of that same Bairavgat hill. It has a small higher section at the top, at the center, but at the base extensive plains here where you'll find these same herders grazing their large herds of cattle. It's sunset here, so I decide to settle down as it's a long way down from here, middle of nowhere, back to any civilization. Beautiful, peaceful evening that time, stunning sunset views. Next morning, wake up. It was pretty windy up there from my little bivvy who kept me warm and dry. And then basically connecting further to from Bairavgat, you can connect towards the Katrabai we did earlier in the previous parts, and then get down towards through these beautiful forest trails to Ratangat base. From there, then at the base of Ratangat, you find some beautiful ancient reservoirs. And from here we get down to Ratanwadi. Ratanwadi is the base village of the fort. It's a beautiful Amruteshwar Shiva temple in the village, built in the 9th century in Hemantpanti architectural style. The carvings on the black stones of the temple structure bring out the ancient art depicting stories from religious Hindu books like Samudra Matan, idol of Yaksha Kinar. Adjacent the temple there is a beautiful built water tank named Vishnu Tirt. There are many corners in to place the idols. Here you can see those beautifully sculptured pillars inside the temple, still preserved, not destroyed by the usual Mughal invasions. Here again the pillars on the entrance of the temple, beautiful handwork on very hard stone basically. And then going back from Ratanwadi to the main highway along the Bhandardara Reservoir. Actually is a long 20-kilometer walk along some rural roads, very bad roads, absolutely not much transportation or bus connectivity there. So there I get lucky to meet these two guys on one bike who nicely give me a ride as the third pillion on the bike on very bad road, and on the way dropping me to that highway. They call me into their home, beautiful place, give me nice food, nice desserts before dropping me back on the Bhandardara Reservoir, from where I hitch a ride back to Pune to head to my third traverse, the beautiful Mataran range. Voila, thank you for watching this fourth video on the Harishchandragad to Bhandardara traverse. You can find all the webinars on my blog ultrajourneys.org, along with lots of other information on the Sahyadris, the Himalayas, Vietnam and other regions where I did my ultra journeys. See you guys tomorrow for the next section of Mataran.